Reset TV, what's going on with y'all, man? Real quick before we start, I need you guys to go ahead and hit that subscription button. Help us break this algorithm. I'm trying to drop these gems, trying to experiment with different things. Still on hip hop, but this is kind of bigger than that. This is dealing with our everyday lives, and we got to call out the raccoons on that left field plantation y'all like to call the Democrats. They got a lot of talking heads that are paid trying to sway in votes. And one of those talking heads, and I can't believe I'm not going to even mention Plies. I got somebody that shucks and jives more than Plies. And it's disappointing if you know the origins of this character. And that's DL Hughley. Recently, DL Hughley was on his radio show and is now backtracking on things he said about Kamala Harris back in 2019, even 2020. Fast forward today, if you guys been paying attention to his affiliation, his diehard affiliation with being a forever Democrat, but more particularly his, promotion and propaganda of Kamala Harris, all of a sudden, you look into it and you realize this guy is not genuine. I mean, what else you expect if you're paid? But without a further ado, let's drop the clip. Because this one right here, I'm telling y'all, man, I just wasn't surprised personally.
Kamala Harris did not, in fact, lock up the thousands of people that I said she did. I told that lie, and I have apologized to it. Not only have I apologized, I've said to her, not only am I going to keep apologizing, because I think it did that much damage, I am going to do what I can do to make sure you become the 47th. At this time, I said to her when I apologized, I'm going to make sure you get elected. I didn't say re-elected. I said elected. And now here it is, that opportunity. To me, that is divine. That is something that's supposed to have happened. If you are the people right now who are misquoting her record, we are not the same. If you believe that her locking people up from weed.
Brother DL, ain't nobody misquoting Kamala Harris, brother. Now, if you're talking about there's a far less percentage that actually got convicted and not even convicted, that actually served time in prison, you got a point. But most of the guys and gals she was arresting, that's on their record, bro. What the hell are you talking about? This is a fact. But here's the thing. He says it's divine. What the hell is divine about having symbolism at the helm of a particular party black folks has consumed themselves in for the better part of 80 years. And now this is the what? The pathway that we got to stay on in terms of symbolism. Kamala seemingly, look, I'm not one of these people that cares less if you guys call Kamala Harris black or white, Indian, Asian. I don't care. The thing is, guys like DL Hughley, right? So-called black intellectuals can never tell you why, your vote will count if you vote for Kamala Harris, how she will benefit the so-called black community, or me, if you think like me and you think of the bigger picture, us as Americans, how she will affect the country. Now, if you are a part of the subculture, obviously I am too, I'm black, and you do have a vested interest, I mean, I have children, yeah, selfishly, I want to know what the hell these candidates have to offer black people. I can go down the list in many other videos that I've already had of Trump in terms of who's the better candidate, Trump versus Kamala. By far, it's not even close. Doesn't mean I'm all of a sudden, Team Trump in terms of like, he's a superhero. I view him as a demigod, but I understand what DL Hughley is saying. And what he's doing is caping hard for y'all, man. DL Hughley is using words like divine and supposed to happen with Kamala Harris. This is the same guy like Willie D. No offense to you too, Willie D. You guys are in the category of anyone but Trump. That was a long-winded, answer I gave y'all, but that's what they're on. Anyone but Trump. They're in fear tactics to get y'all vote, float it and keep it on the left. They can never tell you what Trump has done in his past presidential term that would, I don't know, put you back in chains. These guys sound like slaves, man. I'm sorry. They don't even know the experience of slavery, but let them tell it. They're Martin Luther King. They're Malcolm X. They're Farrakhan. These guys are paid and bought for, yo. And I only played some of the clip. I'll play more of it, but I want you guys to really think about what I'm saying. This is the same DL Hughley that has told you guys not to trust Kamala Harris back in 2019. What's changed, bro? Seriously, what's changed? But let's listen to some more.
Is worse than a man who says he wants to give dope dealers the death penalty. We are not the same. If you want me to remember her past but not Trump's past, we're not the same. If you want to remind me of her record but don't want to talk about Project 2025, have you ever noticed the same black people?
This dude's emotional. I don't care what y'all tell me, man. Emotional men can't be at the helm of things, yo. This can't be our leaders. Look, I know a lot of you guys might not even believe in politics, and I understand why. So you think your vote don't count, and I get it. But on my end, because DL Hughley says basically you're not my kind if you don't vote for Kamala Harris. What about the people that don't want to vote at all? Me in particular, I'm voting, right? And I'm voting for Trump. And I'm starting a new wave. They like to say anyone but Trump, right? Well, I'm landing my plane on this. Anybody but a Democrat. Because you have used my people for decades and decades. And I feel like if people would get off that plantation, not necessarily becoming a Republican, but a true independent thinker, even labeling yourself as an independent, I feel like you'll have proper time to really dissect this entire election process. Or at the very least, understand what they're throwing in front of you, like your celebrities are doing, right? With the Meg Thee Stallion, your Plies, your Quavos. You won't think of yourself that cheap and allow yourself to sit there and take this pandering they're doing, right? Because when they're viewing or talking to an Asian group, Hispanic group, white group, whatever, even LGBTQ, they're not doing these theatrics. I call it straight coonery. It's a minstrel show. They're not doing it. They're talking about real things, policies, how it's going to affect you, your families, and children. Notice that was a concert you guys witnessed. Meg shaking her rear end. Quavo, I like you. I ain't trying to hurt you on this, but you definitely bought my guy. You a bought man, you know? And it's like, damn, we can't have anything else but a Democrat, but being a Democrat, and leave it to DL Hughley. If you dare not vote for a Democrat, you're not his kinfolk. Willie D said the same thing. It's like they have all these things to say about Trump, forgetting he actually was the president for 4 years. I only have this question. How did he make things worse? Is all I'm asking. How did he make things worse, particularly for a lot of you black folks that don't want to rock with him? And I know I see a lot of my brothers and sisters rocking with Trump. I don't know what's the motivation. Maybe they're tired of being on that Democratic plantation. I don't know what it is. But I see y'all. I see y'all. I see you guys voicing your opinions. But the problem is I also see people quick to point out that minstrel show in Atlanta from the Democrats and Kamala Harris over there, right? At her rally. You're quick to point it out. And then most of y'all still ending with, I'm still going to vote for her. I just don't like it. This is why we ain't going nowhere. This is why we're at dead end. Because it's like you're afraid to at least give yourself a chance and try something different. Doing the same thing over and over again with no results is insanity, folks. And I know you probably heard that saying before, but the point is you're not making, or rather doing anything to change that narrative. Nah. You can't allow guys like DL Hughley come hijack your emotions and guilt trip you on staying on that plantation. Like, what has Kamala Harris, honestly, specifically promised the black community? That's what I'm asking you, DL. What has she promised?
But I want to tell you, she sold all this weed and locked all these people up. I'll tell you, they don't believe that 2025 is Trump's plan for a second term. There is a reason for that. If you're telling me you're not going to vote for her because she has a white husband, then we're not the same. But if you're going to say she has a white husband, you better have a black wife when you say it. Don't tell me that somebody's Latin or Asian. I think that should be a predicate. The predicate.
I'll be honest with y'all. You can check this out. I have a link. You can finish that entire interview or his so-called rant, his opinion, his position, whatever. I'll drop a link on the bottom. You guys can check it out because I've heard this talk for far too long. I'm not that young. I've heard these so-called black men that we deem as prestigious, right? Not necessarily me, but people in the black community. You deem these black men as somebody for us to follow when he's following a woman nonetheless. I'm not saying you're wrong to follow a woman, but he doesn't stand on his two toes. This is the same man that abandoned, right, a son he had outside of wedlock. That son is deceased, but this is the same black man that's done that. The problem that I have, right, is the fear mongering they do to guilt you into voting. But DL Hughley has changed a lot of his philosophies and principles over the past few decades. And I noticed that with a lot of guys like him, even your Al Sharpton, so many other men. And it's almost like if you don't vote Democrat, you're a sellout. You're an Uncle Tom, you tap dance. You guys heard this before, but my problem is there are actual people that listens and tunes in into this man and guys like him speak and think they're the end all, right? They believe what they say. But I want you guys to check out what this guy has said. I remember right after the debate, that horrible debate by Biden, right? This is what DL Hughley had to say, and I think it's important we understand who this man really is. So if you're reading with me, right, it says, it's simple. For me, as fast as you forget grab them by the P word or January 6th or being convicted of 34 felonies, I'll forget this debate. See, that debate was so horrendous. There's nothing the left could have done. I mean, we saw the fix was in. I was on the part, right, on the side of folks that believe they allowed Biden to go out there and look horrible as he did so they could have an excuse to push Kamala through. Now, some people believe they wanted to rock with Biden. I don't believe that because I know these people, as they have been lying to us for years about Biden's, declining mental state. They knew what they were doing with Kamala Harris. So you got DL Hughley coming out here saying it's simple for me, as basically as long as, we know what Trump, says, not done. They always tell you what he says, never what he does, by the way. He won't forget this debate. That's the problem that I have because you pick and choose, right? And for a lot of black Democrats who don't want to rock with Trump, it feels like you worry about the things he say, but this is a man that's actually held the position in the White House as our president. And what did he do again to make our lives so horrible, especially versus these last 3.5 years? What has he done where you could legitimately come out here and say why a vote for Trump is so bad versus Kamala when we've seen Trump in office before? It's a shame this is what goes on. And if you guys read the comment section, they're killing DL Hughley. No surprise, because shout out to you younger Gen Z folks. I know some people like to get on y'all, but I see you guys waking up, and it's more so some of y'all versus people like my peer groups and older. They're not going to leave that plantation. They'll say everything you could think of about the Dems and how they're playing us, how they're treating us like little children that they got to talk down on and do minstrel shows like what we seen in Atlanta with the Harris rally and Meg and Quavo. They'll say all that while they'll still vote Democratic. They'll make any excuse not to give their vote a chance in terms of its value of actually trying something different. Who knows? Maybe if the majority of us, right, stop voting Democratic, especially nationally, for 1 year, maybe they might take us serious and actually fulfill their promises. But we don't even have the courage to leave Zaddy and Mammy alone. What say y'all in the comment section, man? I would love to know. Please meet me there. I really want to know. I think this is one of the most important elections of our time. And those of you who are really young, you will look back in 10, 15, 20 years. And again, I'm especially speaking for those of you who are voting age. And you will have to ask yourself, did you contribute to the betterment of your community and country, or did you make it worse by voting based off of fear tactics? I think some of you guys really need to revisit Project 25 and realize we're already living in Project 25. So Trump himself has denied that he's pushing this agenda, But let a lot of these guys like DL Hughley, Kamala Harris, and all these other folks, they're going to use that as a fear tactic to force you, or rather scare you into voting Democratic. And I just really want to educate us more on this channel of testing our vote. If we always vote one way, who the hell is going to take us serious? We are susceptible, right, to believing false promises by the Democrats because they know even if they don't fulfill it, we're still going to vote for them next time around. Let's cut that out. This was Gravitating Away on Reset TV, and I'm holla at y'all.
Fuck, you can't get on me. I might jump on the stage with a stick on me. Every cornerback women got a pick on them. Every Glock in it big got a dick on it. How you watching my live, won't click on it. I'm a butt on a rolling, no tick on it. They ain't tell you about a rule, I got a kick on me. I just pray that my dog don't switch.